Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Blind OG, and in today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different for the channel. We're going to have our first mud focused video. Alright, so I've been helping out a few people lately with playing Alter Eon, which in turn has brought me back into the game. Alright, so what this series will be focusing on is just an overall explanation of the game as I know it. I am in no way like a pro gamer at this or anything like that, but it's just what I've learned from playing Alter Eon. Alright, so commands, what some of the commands are, what they mean, useful commands, things like how to create aliases, how to read equipment and what it means, and things like that. It will be up to you, of course, to do your own exploration in the game so that you can find, really cool gear and all that kind of stuff. I'll just be going over the some of the quests that will pop up, and you'll see like who to go to in order to get the most out of the quests and the commands and things like that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you have never played Alter Eon and you would like to get a game that is fully accessible and that has some actual depth, like this game is one of the top ones that I've seen. Like I think this game has more depth in it than a lot of audio games out there. You know what I mean? So it's pretty dope. It's a mix between World of Warcraft and Dungeons and Dragons
5 p.m.
as far as playing the role of whatever class, whatever character you choose. All right, so starting out, if you want to learn how and where to get this game, you can go to altereon.com, and that's ALTERAEON.com. That's where you can point your browser to, check out the download link, or there is a link for the blind. Check that out. Get in there, and you want to download the B.O.G client, and then after you download it, you just follow the instructions. Pretty much, it's pretty simple. It installs on your computer, and it comes out with its own sound pack. So it's not like other MUDs like VIP where you have to chase down a sound pack. The B.O.G client comes with its own sound pack, and it's already up and installed when you download it. All right. So after that, of course, you start up the client, and you just follow the prompts. Like, it'll ask you to create a character, throw in your name, throw in a password, throw in an email address if you want to be able to find your profile and your character if you lose your password. All right, so that's something that's very important. All right, and then you'll pretty much start whatever your first class is. You'll start out in that that newbie tutorial section. All right. Now, where I'm at right now with my character Julix, I think I'm like a level 2 warrior. All right. So I wanted to choose like a pretty simple first class, so that's what I am right now. All right. So as we go through this, I'll be giving you guys how-tos on commands and stuff like that. And so one of the first aliases I set for my character, for any character that I play, is the exit alias, right? And so what this does is I make it so I can just type the letter X and enter, and it'll show me the exits instead of just typing out the whole word exit. Alright, because after a while, when you're playing this game, you are going to use these commands a lot, right? And aliases make it so it's easier for you to do a command in as as little as possible. You know what I mean? Like in at least as in
6 p.m.
how can I explain it? Like it's aliases help you so that you can do more with less keystrokes. That's pretty much it, right? So that's what an alias is. Right? So we're gonna start out with our first alias, which I think I already have it.
Enter. You are no longer AFK. You return to your keyboard. You can go the following direction.
Alright, so I already set it up, but I'll unalias this, which is another command. So the first command is alias set and then whatever it is that you want to type in order to do a command, right? So in this one it's alias set X, alright?
UNALIAS. Enter. Alias deleted.
Alright, so unalias and then whatever the command is how you delete
Control Windows Enter.
is how you delete an alias. Alright, so that's something to keep in mind. Alright, so we're gonna set this up. So it's alias
ALIAS space SET
set
space X.
Enter
the
right?
commands you want this
And then
alias
on
to
this line is what the command is that you previously had to type. So we're gonna put in exit
EXIT.
and then enter
Enter.
again.
Use an assigner to
Slash
DONE.
done.
Enter. Done writing description.
And we've created our first alias. Alright, so now you can type X.
Enter. You can go the following.
And it'll tell you exactly what directions you can go in. Alright. Now, that is the format for setting up aliases. You can of course put in new things and spell the way that you create spells a little bit different. And I'll show you guys how to do spells if you are a caster. So if you chose a mage or a cleric or a necromancer or a druid, then I'll tell you how to set up aliases for your spells. Makes it a whole lot easier. All right, so let's see here.
UNALIAS UUST. Enter. Alias deleted.
All right, and excuse me ahead of time, like for the misspellings. All right, I'm just gonna let you know that right now with this game being a mud, there's a lot of spelling going on, and you know, so there you go. Like, all right, so in order to set up an alias for a spell, right? So I'm gonna use I usually use gust as an example, so I'll use that as an example here too. But you can always switch out these different parts and put in whatever you want to put for your spell. Like for example, if you're a mage, shower of sparks, right? Like that's one of the first spells you come out with as a mage, right? So if you've got shower of sparks, then you might want to make an alias that is where you type, I don't know, spark, something like that, you know. So right now we're gonna do the druid one, which is gust of wind. All right, so it's alias set
ALIAS space
and then gust.
GUST. Enter the command.
Now
this alias to.
On this line we're gonna type C, which is cast,
space
and then gust of wind because that's the name of the spell.
GUST space IND.
And then we're gonna hit the space again, and we're going to do dollar star, which will allow you to target enemies outside of combat, and I'll explain that a little bit later.
Enter new line.
Enter again slash
enter done writing description
slash done. All right. So now, I mean, I'm a warrior. I don't have this actual spell, but if I did, I'd be able to cast it with no problem, even if I walked up and an enemy was walking around me, you know, looking at me. I could immediately type gust and, for example, imp, and it would cast the spell on the imp. Now, if you don't have an alias for your spells and you want to cast your spells, you have to type what I typed into the second line of the alias. So pretty much, so you have to type C space gust and then imp, right? So you have to type all that out. When now you just have to type, you know, gust and imp, and it gets it gets like some of those spells, the name of the spells are longer and stuff like that. And so later on you'll be happy that you actually set up an alias. All right. So that's pretty much how you set up an alias for spells.
UNALIAS space GUST enter alias deleted.
I'm gonna delete that alias for now. And before we start, I'm gonna go into some of the things that I think new players, some of the questions I think new players will have on equipment, and also I'm going to teach you guys how to create equipment sets, which at my character level right now I don't really need an equipment set, but it's good to start looking, for like things like for example, if you are a mage, then or a casting class, right? And like I said before, your casting classes are mage, cleric, necromancer, and druid. So if you're one of those casting classes, then you'll want to have a mana set to recharge your mana. Like for me, since I'm a warrior, I'll most likely have a movement set
8 p.m.
so that I can get my movement back really fast, because that's where most of my attacks will pull from, my movement points. When you're a casting class, it pulls from your mana points. All right. So we'll go over that too. All right. So first things first, we're going to uh, we're going to check out our stats. All right, now these are the important stats that you have for your character, and I've made an alias for that as well. All right, so if you don't have an alias, the command is train.
TRAIN enter. You have 11 practices remaining. Stat current.
All right, and I'll mute that for right now. And what this means is these are all of your important attributes for your character, right? So you have strength, you have wisdom, you have intelligence, you have dexterity, you have constitution, and you have charisma. And um, those are the stats that are important for your character, no matter what character you are. Um, they're important. So, for example, since I'm a warrior, my my stats that I feel are important to me are, first of all, strength, and also constitution. Dexterity is a good one, depending on what way I want to go, and what type of like classes, or what type of classes I want to choose as my second and stuff like that. But for right now, since I'm a warrior, it's strength, dexterity, constitution. Those are important. All right, now if you are a mage class, or if you are a magic caster class, um, which, like I said before, mage, cleric, necromancer, or druid, then wisdom, intelligence, and wisdom are important, right? So, for example,
Lucy appears in the middle of the room.
let's see, let's say I wanted to make a warrior that has a lot of charisma, right? I could do that, like, no problem, right? So, if I wanted to make this warrior be like a a really like slick talking character,
During
I'll
the game,
say,
Madness has
you
given you a
know,
gift.
like where he can talk to people, and they'll give him different quests. They'll sell things to him for cheaper because his
Limited repeat.
charisma is really high. Um, Enemies might not
9
want to
p.m.
attack him as much because his charisma is so high. That kind of character. Then I can totally do that by upping my charisma. All right. So that's a little bit about stats and how to view them. If you want to raise your stats, then you of course type the stat or type the train command.
TR Aeon. Enter. You have 11 practices remaining. Stat current constant practices. Strength 17 5 you can train. Intelligence 12 8 you can train. Wisdom 12 8 you can train. Dexterity 14 5 you can train. Constitution 13 6 you can train. Charisma 13 6 you can train. You must specify.
All right, so those are, like I said, those are the stats that I have, right, for my character. So if I wanted to um, raise up my strength, and I'll go into the output window, which you can choose between output and input with the control tab.
Output. Edit. Type in text. Blank. The numbers
So you can go
Constitution
up.
12. Intel strength 17 5 you can train.
So what this means is my strength is 17 right now, and it will cost me 5 practices to train it up to 18. All right. So that's pretty much what that means.
Right heart lead.
For every level you get 5 practices, and these practices are super important in the beginning of the game because you want to keep the spells or the skills that you get. You want to keep those. At this point, you can learn new spells and skills, but what I suggest is to train up your stats ahead of time, because that makes things a whole lot easier, makes the fights coming up a whole lot easier. But it's something that you have to sort of think about while you're, playing. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much what those numbers mean. Strength is my strength stat. 17 is where it's at right now, and 5 is how much it costs to train it up to 18. All right, now just because my strength stat right now is 17 does not mean that if I go and find some equipment that it won't change. All right, but this is the base stat. So this is the stat that I have before I bring in, maybe some of the, like, if I find a pair of gloves that has +1 strength, right? That's +1 on top of this 17. This is the base strength, and that goes for the base stat, and that goes for all of these stats here, right? So
Alter Eon. Edit. Type in text.
So that's a little bit about stats, and also talk about how to view what you're wearing, right? All right, so in order to view what you're wearing, it's EQ is what I use.
EQ.
You can type out equipment, you can type out equip, all that kind of stuff gives you pretty much the same
10
thing.
p.m. Enter. You are using head horn bronze helmet. Neck. Arms. Wrist. Hands well-made leather gloves rare. Finger a heavy bronze ring. Finger a heavy bronze ring. On body a coat of plates about body waist. Legs a pair of tough
All right, so that's what I'm wearing, and that's all newbie stuff, and I have tons of spots that are open, as you heard. All right, so in my head spot, that's what I'm wearing. I don't have anything on my neck slots,
Arms. Wrist.
or my arms, or my
Hands
wrists.
well-made leather gloves rare.
I'm wearing those gloves on my hands,
Finger a heavy bronze ring. Finger a heavy bronze ring.
wearing those rings on my fingers,
On body a coat of plates.
wearing that on my body.
About body.
I don't have anything about body. Okay, so how I explain
On
these
body
two
a coat of plates.
slots is like when you're wearing a t-shirt, that would be on your body, and then about your body is if you were wearing a hoodie on top of that t-shirt. All right, so that's pretty much what those two slots mean. They're different, and you have to have to be able to distinguish between both of them because they're both important.
About body.
All
Waist.
right, so waist, I don't have anything in there.
Legs a pair of tough leather pants.
All right, I'm wearing some leather
Feet a
pants,
pair of bronze toed boots.
and I got
Shield.
some bronze boots. I'm not holding anything in my left hand or right hand. It doesn't really matter how you which hand you think is your shield hand or your weapon hand. Like, it's not really that important. So I'm not holding anything in my shield hand. This hand is for shields. It's for holding totems. You can hold you can hold a bunch of different stuff, right? So, and we'll go over that as we come across things that that you can hold, which helps with your players' attributes as far as boosting them up and stuff like that. On top of some of the boosts you already get from the equipment that you have on your character. All right.
Weapon a heavy bronze hatchet.
All right, and so I'm using a heavy bronze hatchet.
Land.
All right, so
Alter Eon.
now I'm wearing a horn helmet, right? So I'm
Wood
gonna
and leaves
remove
north.
this helmet so that I can check it out. Well, actually, I might not need to remove it. All right, so I'm going to type ID, which is identification. This is one of the best commands you have because it's something that you need to be able
Right heart appears in
to
the
use
right heart leaves.
effectively. ID and also the compare command. Both of these are really good, and I'll talk a little bit about later about which one you use for what for whatever you're doing. All right. So we're gonna ID this horn because that's what the name of the
Right heart appears in
item
the middle of
is.
the room. D space O-R-N. Enter a horn bronze helmet level 1. Copper.
All
Outfit.
right, so
Land.
I'm gonna go over what all
You
this
are level
stuff
right 11
means real
right
quick.
unison leaves north. Right heart appears in 11 p.m. Right heart horn bronze helmet.
All right, so horn bronze helmet, that's the name of the item,
Horn. Bra helmet level colon. 1 comma.
and it's a level one.
Colon. Copper.
The comp is like the composition, what it's made out of,
Copper. Base comma.
and it's copper based,
Weight colon. 7.
and the weight is 7.
Warrior. Comma.
It is you have to be a warrior. You have to be at least a level 1 warrior to be able to use this piece of equipment.
AC colon.
The armor class
4 comma.
is 4, which means you want to, as a warrior, if you do choose warrior, you want to make sure your armor class is high. If you are a magic caster, you'll, depending on what
Friends tower completed quest.
class you are, then you'll have different sort of like different spells or skills to learn to raise your defense, right? So for right now, AC is for like warrior, even though AC can be used by any class. Like it doesn't matter if you're a mage or a warrior or a thief. Every piece of equipment has this portion, but it might not have anything in here. Like there might be something in there, might not be anything in there. All right.
AC colon.
All right. So the
4 comma.
AC is 4.
Head. Comma. Head.
The head, that's where that's the slot that it goes in. It's a head slot.
Comma. Damrel. Buy. 1 comma.
All right, and then I'll go ahead and explain dam roll
Fairy. Buy. Fairy. 1 comma.
and some of these stats. So these are the buffs you get for wearing this piece of equipment.
Buy.
All right.
Damrel.
So your dam roll is your damage, right? That's your damage roll,
Buy. 1 comma.
and the dam roll is by 1, which is really good. And when I'm gonna do the hatchet and show you more about what dam roll means. All right, so this means +1 dam
Buy.
roll,
1 comma. Fairy. Buy.
and then parry
1 comma.
by 1. So when I learn the parry skill, it'll give me +1 to my parry, which is really really good.
Hit underline points. Buy. 5.
Now it also gives me an extra 5 hit points while I'm wearing it.
This. Item.
All right, so So that's
Alter
what
Eon.
that
Head.
means. All right, now we'll do the hatchet because this is the weapon that I'm using.
D space A-A-T. Enter a heavy bronze. Out. Right 11.
Now
Heavy bronze hat.
it is sort of the same, but there are a few
Land
differences.
A.
All right,
Heavy. Bra hatchet comma.
so that's the name of the piece of equipment.
Level colon. 1 comma. Colon.
So it's a level 1.
Copper. Base comma.
It's also copper
Weight
based.
colon. 7.
It weighs 7 pounds as well.
Warrior. Comma.
It's a warrior. It's a warrior piece of equipment, so you have to be at least level 1 warrior, just like the uh, the piece of equipment that we're wearing in the horned helmet, we're wearing in the head slot.
War comma. Damage colon. 3d8.
So now this is the damage, and this ties into dam roll. All right, so 3d8. All right, so that means we have 3 8-sided die as our damage roll, and this ties into, if for people who have played Dungeons and Dragons before, right, where you would roll, like roll your damage. All right, so that's pretty much what that is. 3d8 is a whole lot better than 8d3, right? And that's another thing that a lot of people seem to not really understand at first, is that if you find something, and you will, because there are tons of different types of equipment in this game. You might find something that is 8d3, right? And so how that is explained is three 8-sided die will give you a higher chance of reaching your max damage than 8 3-sided die. All right. Now, what that means is the percentage that you're going to reach your max damage with 8d3 is really low, because in order to do that, you'd have to roll threes, a good majority of threes, or even a good majority of twos and threes to be able to get on all 8 of those die, right? So there's that, and then um, with 3d8, you have a higher chance of getting higher numbers. That's pretty much what that means. You've got a higher chance of getting higher numbers on your rolls, which means you'll have a higher chance of getting, that higher damage. All right.
Damage 3d8. Speed colon. Average chop comma.
So this is the speed and the type of attack it is. So it's average, speed, and it's chop. Now in this you might have like a sword might have slice, a dagger might have stab, um, all kinds of different things. And it's good to pay attention to this if you're using a skill that needs that needs you to use a certain type of weapon. Okay, so for example, if you chose a thief as your main class,
1 a.m.
then the dagger that you get, you'll want it to have stab, right? Because when you're a thief, your main bread and butter command for attack is like the backstab, right? So you'll want to make sure that you can actually backstab with the dagger. Now there are daggers that don't have backstab. There's also spears that do have stab, and there's some that have different things like slice and all kinds of stuff like that. So you just want to pay attention to that to make sure you're using the best weapon that you can to get the maximum damage that you can um, for what you got and where you're at as far as your character level.
Speed average chop comma. 16. Wield. 16.
All right, so 16
Wield.
wield means you have to have 16 strength, 16 wield strength to use it.
16 wield. Strength comma. War underline skill underline level.
All right, so these are the buffs, or these are the extras that it gives me for using this hatchet. All right, war skill. Now, war skill is something that is very interesting, and it's super important no matter what class you choose as your main. All right, so for mage you have mage cast. For cleric you have cleric cast. For thief you have thief skill. For warrior you have war skill. For necromancer you have necrocast, and for druid you have druid cast, right? And so what you want to make sure is that for your main equipment set, like what you're wearing most of the time, you want to have some of these on for whatever class you have. So right now, like I'm a warrior, so I want to make sure that
Timers disabled.
as much stuff or as much gear that I have on my body has warcast or war skill, sorry, not warcast, war skill on it. All right. So because what that does is it ups my skill by 1 for each piece of equipment that has um, war skill on it. All right. So what that means is if I'm a level 2 warrior, since I have this hatchet that has war skill on it, I'm now playing as if I was a level 3 warrior, right? And so these stack on top of each other. So like if I had a pair of gloves that also had war skill, then I'm a level 2, then I'd be playing as if I was a level 4. All right, which is really good. It's no different than how you're playing already. It's just your strength and stuff and your skills are a lot better. Alright, so that's what that means with mage casts. What it means with all those casting types, thief skill is all the same. Alright, so it's a boost for your character to play as if your character was a higher skill or higher class character.
Alter Eon. Edit.
Alright.
Type in text.
Uh,
Output. Edit. 12 bright heart has left the game. 12
see if
regular heavy bronze hatchet level. Heavy level 1
I
base
think we
comma.
got to the
Wait
end of
colon
that.
7 war for speed colon 3 damage colon comma.
Oh,
Damage
okay.
3d speed average shot comma 6 wield strength war on by 1 comma hit roll.
Alright, so hit roll.
By 2 comma.
So hit roll.
By hit roll.
Alright, so what hit roll is hit roll is the percentage that you're going to get past an enemy's defense, right? So when you talk about armor class, that raises my armor class by 4, right? So let's see. Hold on, let me
edit. Type in text. A-R-O-R, enter. You are no longer AFK. You return to your keyboard. Armor 52. You are only where.
Alright, so right now my armor is 52. Alright, so that means that a person has to roll or has to overcome that armor class in order to do significant damage and all that kind of stuff. Alright, so that piece of equipment gives me more to my armor, which is always, good since, like I said, I'm a warrior. Alright.
Space A-A-T, enter. A heavy.
So we'll finish this.
You are wielding a heavy bronze mountain. A heavy bronze hat. Heavy bronze hat level 1 comma. Weight 7 war comma. 3 speed comma. 16 wield. Strength comma. War by 1 hit by 2 comma. Dam roll by 3. This item. This 3 dam roll.
Alright, so the dam roll is by 3, so that's really good. Gives me more to my damage. Alright, so that's pretty much what it is, and how what things mean as far as what you're wearing and what you're wielding and stuff like that. And that's also a good command is wield in order to wield whatever weapon you have, and hold for your shield. So if you got a shield, you can type hold shield. All right. Now you can type I or inventory to see what you're actually carrying.
Enter. You are carrying the following 4 items: a carrying pouch, a slime-covered letter, a yellow potion, and a blazing torchlight.
Alright, so that's what I'm carrying, and just to let you guys know, at the beginning of the game, those potions, they do go bad, so you want to use them.
Enter. You quaff a yellow potion.
I mean, it doesn't really do anything. I mean, it does some, but it's not really worth much, right? So don't be worried if it goes bad and it disappears from your inventory. Alright, so we're at the first waypoint. First thing you want to do is pray, of course, so that you can so you can have this in your waypoint list. In order to check out what waypoints you have in your list, you can type way.
Enter. Waypoints you can get 2 from here. 1 heavily warded waypoint, 99 cents.
And it'll tell you which waypoints you can get to from where you're currently at. Now, one thing to explain about waypoints is you can get to waypoints as long as they're inside of the portal that you're currently in. So later down the line, we'll go through a portal in order to get to a new city, and I can get to all the waypoints in that current portal. And in order to get back to this first one, I'll have to go back through the actual portal, physically go back through the portal, and then come to a waypoint, and then I can use the waypoints on wherever I'm at. All right. So that's a little bit about waypoints. Like when you do have more than one waypoint that you can currently reach, you can type way and then the number of the waypoint, or if you know the city, you can type way and the first 3 letters of the city. That's one thing that's really good. If you have trouble with like spelling out some stuff, you can also type in whatever you're trying to spell, at least the first 2 letters, and then you can hit tab and it'll spell it out. If it notices, or if it can recognize what you're trying to spell, then it'll spell out the rest of it. Because sometimes people have names and all kinds of stuff like that, and it's a bit hard It's always good when you're trying to interact with NPCs to use man, woman, shopkeeper, like that kind of thing, unless you want to go up and actually, find out what their name is and all that kind of stuff, which is totally fine, too. All right. So let me see. Trying to think of what else is good for new players to know before we really start and dive into like lists and the donation rooms and all kinds of stuff like that. So trying to think what are some other good commands. Like I'll be telling you guys as we go along some of the commands that I use to get to different things. But as of right now, I guess that's pretty much it for right now as far as like character, um, like how to access information
4 a.m.
or your character. Um, Actually, no. There are some more things. Okay, so for example, at some point in this game, you're gonna get poisoned. All right, and that's just something that you're just gonna have to deal with. Now, if you think you're poisoned, like it'll tell you feel sick, right? So you can type show poison.
A-O, double space E-O-I-O-N, enter. You have 0% resistance to poisons and toxins.
All right, and so I don't really have a good defense for poison. I will later on if I choose to make a set for poison, like if I'm going into a place where I know there are lots of poisonous things, then I might want to create a set for poison so I don't have to worry about it. Or you can simply just learn the cure poison, or you can get a potion. If like for me, I'm a warrior, so I won't learn the spell. So I have two options. Um, I can either set up an equipment set that gives me more percentage, a higher defense for poison, or I can go buy a potion for cure poison or remove poison or whatever, So, and if you are a magic caster, for mage, you can get some poison, a few spells for poison. Cleric is the same thing, like you can remove poison. Um, Necromancer, uh, I don't know if there is I know that for thief there's like poison resistance and stuff like that. I know there's like poison handling or whatever. So yeah, it just depends on what class you are, what options you have to tackle different situations. All right. So showing is that's a good command. Like show poison, is a good command to have. Um, And you can also, if you are a magic caster and you want to know what level you're casting at, it's show cast.
S-H-O, double space C-A-S-T, enter. You are casting at level 0 mage, level 0 cleric, level 0 necromancer, level 0 druid.
So I'm not casting because I'm not a magic caster. But if you are, and you finally get your equipment set up that has um, like I said before, your cast, whether it's magic cast, cleric cast, all that kind of stuff, and you want to see at what level you're actually casting, then that's a good command. Another good command is who am I? And that gives you some information about your character. It's who am I with no spaces.
W-M-M-H-O 5 A-M A-M-I, enter. Julix at Alter Eon. You are Julix, you are male and currently 5 feet 0 inches tall. You are a level 2 mortal. Alignment 0, you are neutral. You are 18 years old. Created Tricep 18 12 47.
Alright, so all that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Um, the alignment is it just depends on what you want to be. Since this character is kind of new, it's not really any sense in doing alignment. Like setting an alignment goal. But if you want to, of course you can. And then that also brings up converting to a god. So I don't have I don't think I have a god yet.
Favor. Enter. Your god is dead, and no one cares.
Oh, that's sad. Okay, so we're gonna try this out as well. All right, so we are going to attempt to convert to a god. All right. So what this does is, I mean, you'll get boons from different gods who are in the game. Like, how this is explained is there are gods in the game who are actually coders and builders who actually, like you can talk to on the gossip channel because they're actual players, right? Or there are gods that are not actual players and they will grant you boons. I mean, it doesn't matter like what god, um, they will all grant you boons. It's good to convert to a god that is sort of like in line with your character, I guess. Like it makes sense to me. Like you can convert to any god you want, but if you're a cleric, it would be weird if you converted to like the god of death, like Schlein or something like that, right? Like, I mean, you can do it though. Like, there's no problem. Like, you'll still get favor and all that kind of stuff. And actually, that'd be kind of interesting to to see that. But anyway, gods give you boons, and so you have to convert to a god. So how we're gonna do this? We're gonna type god, or we're gonna type gods, and we're gonna see what gods are available, right?
DS enter first year dented outlantis glormuch shival more gaffer dog lanter gosh shadow fair six tail for your zale fit heart wyver
So I'm
kenite
gonna
second dented god first your god you created from your god is dead
go up
and
to the
first year
beginning of the list.
dented god of creation
All right, so Denton is the creator of the mud, and he's actually a player you can talk to him. He's around sometimes.
second year kenite chaos exiled very evil
All right, so what this means is this is the name of the god.
chaos
All right,
left bracket exiled right bracket
he's exiled. That's his current. That's like what's going on with him currently.
very evil
And your alignment has to be very evil in order to convert
blank
to that god. All right.
wyvern god of stories and legend good or evil 6 a.m.
So you can be good or evil for that one.
heart god of love and magic fake prophet of the moon zale prophet of the sun Riork's patron of warriors
I might do Reork since I am a warrior.
third era Talos the destroyer evil squeak god of the night god of rats
And also, when you convert to a god, you have to like I was saying earlier, like you have to have the right alignment. But that doesn't mean that you can't convert to another god later on. Like you can convert to a god now, and then later on you can convert to a god that is more evil as soon as you get the alignment. All right.
Signy god of lies evil Terran minion of darkness very evil Shadowfax god of elemental fire
So Shadowfax,
Terran Shadowfax god of elemental fire
that's pretty cool. You're like a mage and you wanted to be a pyromancer, then that would be a good one.
Drak god of elemental ice
Or a cryomancer, which is like for cold, you could do Drak.
Vemor goddess of quiet and sanity neutral only Bobcat god of visions and healing very good Vemor goddess of quiet and sanity neutral only
Quiet Insanity, that's interesting.
Bobcat god of visions and healing very good Islaine goddess of valor good fourth era Islaine goddess of valor good
So that's a good one for a warrior too, Goddess of Valor.
fourth
That's
era
pretty cool.
Bayan goddess of blood Xander god of nature Coolbeans god of mischief very good Slammin god of philosophy good Schlein goddess of death Gerlanter god of beer and adventure
So that's another good one that could be. I mean, there's all kinds of them that you can do. You know what I mean?
Thou the
So
judge current era Gander god of enlightenment Morpheus god of dreams Valorant god of corruption evil Shift god of thieves Mud god of canines Glorita goddess of the sky to see a list of builders Glorita goddess of the sky
so these ones are more like okay, being Goddess of the Sky. That's more like a neutral. Like any character could like that. Like whether you're a druid, um whether you're a druid, whether you're a mage, whether you're a cleric, like all that kind of stuff would be like a god warrior. Like if you liked like that kind of thing.
Mud ship Valor Morgan current era
So
Gerlanter Schlein goddess Slammin god of Coolbeans god of Misander god of Bayan goddess of fourth era Islaine goddess of valor good
I'm thinking of that would be cool, but I'm my alignment is neutral,
Bobcat god of visions and healing very good
so I have to choose one that's sort of like neutral
Vemor goddess of
or
quiet and
that
sanity
doesn't
neutral
have
only
an alignment, and so I think I'm gonna do
Drak
reorcs.
god of elemental Shadowfax Terran Mini Signy god Squeak god of the Talos the Squeak god of the night god of rats Halos the Destroyer Evil. Third Era. Reorx Patron of Warriors.
Alright, so Reorx.
Patron. Reorx. Blank. R-E-O-R-X. Space.
Alright, so that's how you spell the god's name. And
Alter
so,
Eon. Edit. Type in text.
so now, what's important is...
Enter. You are carrying the following 3 items. A carrying pouch, a slime-covered letter, and a blazing torch light.
It's important to know what types
7 a.m. The sun
of
rises in the east.
things your
empty.
god will want as a sacrifice, because while you're converting, you have to sacrifice different things to your god. So it's really important to know sort of like what kind of things that you can sacrifice. As of right now, I don't have anything.
Enter. Carried contains nothing.
I don't have anything in my pouch, and I don't really have anything to sacrifice, but I will. All right, so yeah, it can be tough to convert, but if you have the right stuff and you do convert, then you'll have a god and you'll begin to accrue favor, right? And what favor is if you have a certain amount of favor, you can ask your god for things. In my previous characters, I haven't really did much with favor and stuff like that, so it's always good to go through the help files. All right. Oh, and that brings up another thing. Help files. So, for example, if you want to know what favor is, you type help favor.
H-E-L-P space F-A-V-O-R. Enter. There is help available on the following topics. 1 favor disfavor. 2 necromancers.
Alright, so it gave us a whole list of different things that come up for the word favor in the help files. And there are tons of help files, and they're really, really useful. So the format in order to navigate those help files is, for this one, it's help
H-E-L-P space
1
period
dot favor,
F-A-V-O-R.
and that will bring up the first thing on the list for favor.
Enter. Keywords are favor disfavor. Favor represents your standing with your god. Your current favor status with your god can be seen with the one your favor commands. The maximum amount of favor you can have depends on your cleric level. Most people will have decent favor with their god unless they frequently use favor-based abilities. Clerics can activate certain boons from their god that consume favor. They can make up for the exchange of favor by making sacrifices or completing tasks from an official priest of their god.
So, alright, so you have favor-based abilities sometimes, and you have favor-based things you can do. It's not just for clerics though. You can be all kinds of different classes and use favor. All right, so we're going to convert to reorcs, but I think we're going to do that a little bit later after we actually get stuff in order to sacrifice. All right, so I'm going to end this video right now. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more questions that I didn't get to in this video, then go ahead and leave them in the comments below the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will be shooting more videos in this series. And take you guys through some more stuff on the next video. We'll dive more into the donation lists and excuse me, and the list, how to use lists, how to search through different things in a list to find things for your class, to get the most out of your searches, and pretty much just things like that. So thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Alt Windows G. Control Windows Enter narrator dialog. Heads up narrator keyboard changes leave space.
Alter Eon window. Xbox game bar button. Pop-up window. Audio 1 of 9. Audio. Gallery 3 capture 2 of 9. Xbox game bar. Xbox start recording. Windows logo key plus Alt plus R button 2 of 3.